Apple is reportedly about to do something with the next iPhone that feels un-Apple. Something they've strategically avoided for 17 generations. They're planning to put liquid inside it. On purpose. Now, on one hand, this could unlock a level of gaming and processing power we've only dreamed of on a phone. On the other, it could introduce a whole new layer of complexity and cost. So, is this a stroke of engineering genius, or is it a solution that creates more problems than it solves? Is a liquid-cooled iPhone really worth the hassle that might come with it? Let's break it down. Section 1. The problem we all know too well. First, let's talk about the problem. It's one that Apple, for all its engineering might, has been battling for years. It's called thermal throttling, and you've almost certainly felt it. You know the moment. You're in the final circle of a high-stakes match, rendering a 4K video for a deadline, or just using GPS with your phone on the dash on a sunny day. And suddenly, everything just slows down. The screen dims, the frame rate drops, and your sleek, $1,000 supercomputer starts acting like a phone from 5 years ago. Your phone feels hot, and that's because it's intentionally hitting the brakes to prevent the processor from overheating. That's thermal throttling. It's the phone's safety mechanism kicking in. With every generation, Apple's chips get absurdly powerful. The A17 Pro was a beast. The A18 is coming. And the rumored A19 Bionic chip, which leaks suggest is planned for the iPhone 17 Pro, is expected to be an absolute monster. But more power creates more heat. It's a basic law of physics. Apple's current cooling methods, basically using graphite sheets and the phone's metal frame to passively radiate heat away, are being pushed to their breaking point. The chip in your pocket is a victim of its own success. It has all this incredible power, but it can only really stretch its legs for a few minutes before it has to gasp for air. It's like having a Ferrari that you can only drive in first gear. Apple has finally hit a thermal wall, and their plan is to fight that heat with vapor. Section 2. Apple's genius solution. A vapor chamber. The solution, according to a mountain of credible reports, is a technology called a vapor chamber. Now, before you imagine a tiny water cooler sloshing around next to your battery, let's be clear. This isn't some wild, untested invention. High-end Android gaming phones from companies like Samsung, Asus, and others have used vapor chambers for years to keep their hardware cool. But this is Apple. They don't just adopt technology, they absorb it, refine it, and integrate it until it feels inevitable. They waited ages to adopt OLED screens and high refresh rate promotion displays. In both cases, they waited until they could do it perfectly, on their own terms. The expectation is that their approach to this cooling system will be no different. This isn't about just bolting on a new part. It's about re-engineering the entire thermal architecture of the iPhone to support what's coming next. Section 3. How does this sci-fi tech actually work? So how does a vapor chamber work? And why is it so much better than a simple slab of metal? Think of it like your body's own cooling system, a self-contained cycle that moves heat with incredible efficiency. Inside a very thin, sealed copper chamber is a truly minuscule amount of liquid. We're talking just a droplet. This chamber sits right on top of the hottest part of the phone, the processor. When you fire up a demanding app, that A19 chip heats up, fast. As the heat hits the chamber, that tiny bit of liquid inside instantly flashes into a gas. This hot vapor naturally expands and rushes away from the processor toward the cooler parts of the chamber. As it touches the cooler outer walls, it releases its heat, which then dissipates out through the phone's frame. Once it cools, the vapor condenses back into a liquid. And here's the magic. The inside of the chamber has a wick-like structure. Through capillary action, the same force that lets a paper towel soak up a spill, the wick passively draws the liquid back toward the processor, and the whole cycle starts over. Evaporation, expansion, condensation, repeat. It's a constant, passive loop with no moving parts and no extra power draw. It's basically a superhighway for heat, moving it away from the components that matter most. Section 4. The payoff. Unlocking ultra performance. What does all this clever engineering actually get you? The benefits could be huge, and they go way beyond just a cooler phone. First, sustained performance. The biggest win for a vapor chamber is its ability to slash, or even eliminate, thermal throttling. This means the A19 Pro chip could run at its top speeds for much, much longer. For gamers, that means smooth, high frame rates that don't dip. For creators, it means faster video exports and snappier editing. It means the phone just stays fast, no matter what you throw at it. Some general industry benchmarks have shown that vapor chambers can improve thermal transfer significantly compared to traditional solid-state heatsinks. That's a massive jump in performance headroom. The second benefit is comfort. A vapor chamber spreads heat more evenly across the phone's body. No more of that one uncomfortable hotspot right where you hold it during a long session on a game or a video call. And third, there's a critical long-term benefit: battery health. Heat is the #1 enemy of lithium-ion batteries. It degrades them, reducing their lifespan. By keeping the whole system running cooler, a vapor chamber helps preserve your battery. It's not just about making the phone faster today, it's about making it last longer. Section 5. But. The hassle and the risks. This all sounds incredible. So, what's the catch? What's the hassle here? Well, there are a few big ones. The most glaring risk is the one everyone thinks of: a leak. Let's be realistic. It's a sealed system with a tiny amount of non-conductive fluid, and Apple's quality control is legendary. But nothing is perfect. A manufacturing flaw or significant damage from a nasty drop could compromise the chamber. An internal leak, while extremely unlikely, would be a disaster for the phone's electronics. The risk is small, but it's not zero. The second, and far more likely, hassle is cost. Squeezing a vapor chamber into an iPhone's already packed design without making it thicker or heavier is a massive engineering challenge. This isn't a cheap part, and that cost will almost certainly be passed on to you. If you thought the Pro models were expensive now, this technology makes a price hike a very real possibility. Then there's repairability. iPhones are already tough and expensive to fix. Adding another delicate, sealed component will only make repairs more complex. A simple screen or battery swap could become a much bigger, more expensive job if a technician has to work around a fragile cooling system. This is the trade-off. The promise of incredible performance is tied to the realities of higher costs and new, if minor, risks. So that's the deal. A huge leap in potential performance versus new challenges and a higher price tag. Before I give you my final take, I want to know what you think. Is a true console-level gaming experience on your iPhone worth a higher price and even the slightest risk of a leak? Drop your gut reaction in the comments below. Section 6. The verdict. Is it really worth it? So, back to the big question. Is all this worth it? For the average person using their iPhone for texts, social media, and photos, honestly, probably not. But Apple isn't putting a vapor chamber in the iPhone 17 Pro for the average user. They're doing it for the power user. They're doing it for what's next. This move isn't just about making Genshin Impact run a little smoother. It's a strategic play for the future. It's about laying the groundwork for the truly demanding apps of tomorrow. Complex on-device AI, photorealistic augmented reality, and pro-level creative workflows that could actually rival a laptop. Apple sees a future where its mobile chips are so powerful, they'd be completely bottlenecked without a radical cooling system to match. The vapor chamber isn't a gimmick, it's the foundation for the next decade of mobile computing. Think about promotion. When 120Hz displays first launched, many saw them as a luxury. Now, they're a core part of the premium phone experience. Liquid cooling in the Pro iPhones could follow the exact same path. The risk of leaks is something Apple has likely spent a fortune minimizing. The bigger, more tangible hassle for most of us will be the hit to our wallets. Ultimately, bringing this kind of cooling to the iPhone is a massive, expensive bet. It's Apple declaring that the iPhone is no longer just the best phone. They're pushing it into the realm of a true professional-grade computer that happens to fit in your pocket. It's a fundamental shift. The hassle is real, especially the cost, but the potential is immense. The real question isn't just if this tech is worth it. It's whether we're ready for the kinds of things it will let our phones do. We might be on the verge of a whole new era of mobile power, all thanks to a tiny, sealed chamber with a little bit of vapor inside. Smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more tech challenges, future experiments, and real talk from TechWave 65.